Hello, everyone, and welcome back to United Rogue. This is week one of Linguini League. That includes Gold, Plat, and Diamond. Technically a little bit more, but that's what you're going to expect most of the time. And in here, we've got to talk about the first week of Linguini action. In here, we have myself, Mylander, Anubis, and Term returning. We have Book, Broski, Dante, and Matthew joining us this season in the booth. So, guys, I know that we're all excited about this first week. What do you think about these new teams? Because there's a lot of new faces and not a new players that they're going to come in and they're going to try and show the returning players what's up.
So Maui, I know I talked about this team before. They have two players that have chemistry coming back. Pendy was a solid player for them and still is a really solid captain. And he's a non-playing captain, so I know he has a lot dedicated to this team with helping them improve. This team, as I said before, they have a lot of potential coming in to make some havoc happen in the Pacific Division. And I could see them getting one of the playoff spots. If not winning the division, they could very certainly get a wild card.
And at number 12, what do we have?
Number 12, we have my team, Buffalo. Lower on the power rankings than I'd like, but we didn't play in the preseason Linguini tournament, so I can't fault anybody for not putting us higher. And we'll just come out and show you why you're wrong. But like we said, we have the two returning players, Lotus Slayer and I, and then two great third mans for us, Flugify and Humphrey.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of great out of Buffalo, and you're only one away from Chicago, so that 11th spot, it's not that far away. And I just ruined it. Chicago's at 11. Has anyone... what's your opinion on Chicago being 11? Do you think they're a little bit low, or do you think they're just right where they need to be right now?
Personally, I think that they're a little bit low. I think that they've built a great team and that they have good chemistry. They're playing constantly. I have a little inside scoop since I'm friends with them, but they're all getting coaching from one of their Ramen Bowl players. And so I think that they'll impress everybody, and I think that they should be shooting up the power rankings soon.
That's very good to hear. From 10 on, we've got Pittsburgh tied in for number 10 with another team. We'll tell you in a moment who that is. But Pittsburgh, we just spoke about them. Number 10, does that sound like the right spot?
I think that's a fair spot. I think right now we want to win and we want to push up. But I think I think we needed to show you what we got.
That's a very good outlook to have. And Pittsburgh right now is tied with Nashville, and we've said it before, that's going to be a strong team. So Pittsburgh, Nashville, look out for both of these teams. Anyone have anything to say to Nashville before we move on?
I personally put Nashville higher up on my list, just for the fact of I've heard so much about them, the hype around them and everything, and I'm excited to see what they do. I think 9 is pretty good for right now because I haven't really heard much from them. I haven't heard, how they play and stuff like that. So I think they'll personally be higher as the season goes on, but we'll see.
At number 8, we have New York Insomnia, led by Jacob. He briefly joined us, but it looks like he's busy right now. At number 8, New York, I think that's a good spot for you right now until we start to see some wins.
I agree. This team has a lot of potential coming in. I didn't get to talk about Who's Your Daddy, but he's a really, really great third player for this New York Insomnia team. He has the ability to go up and make some great plays. He's very consistent, doesn't whiff like I do. So this New York team will be a very solid team going in, and I think they have higher goals than what they even did last season, which was a playoff team.
At number 7, we've got Miami, the winner of the Linguini League preseason tournament. They did just lose a player. They did just pick up a player. I do know that that affected some of our rankings
Absolutely.
internally.
Absolutely.
I think it's a fair
Just
place.
for the fact that they lost that, Rezi, we haven't seen them play with their new player yet. But I personally rank them at number 3, I believe. They're still just a great team. Chaos, Zooey, they're gonna be fantastic, and I expect a high push up from them on that power ranking.
At number 6, we have San Diego, and I don't know, but Turb, do you have an opinion about San Diego?
Yeah, my opinion is as long as I don't whiff, this team will be really good.
I feel that.
But I would love to hear what other people say, because I did get to talk about my team when we went over before.
When I think of San Diego, it's funny. For some reason, when I picture your team, Terminator, in my head, I think of me sitting in goal and just cars raining down from the sky with the ball in hand, putting pressure on my goal. And I really think that's what your team has, is a lot of pressure. And I think 6, I don't know. To me, maybe 6 is a little bit too low. I would put you up a few more spots. I really think your team has a lot of ability to put pressure on other teams. So we'll have to see what happens.
At number 5, we have Las Vegas, and I believe I actually put them at number 1. I did. And they're one of those teams that have a lot of players coming back, and I expect great things out of them. Possibly we've got some better players on other teams maybe. They're at number 5, but you know what? I'm expecting a lot out of Las Vegas.
Honestly, I think they're too low. Just looking at this on paper, I haven't seen them play. But I know Vuma, I know Out of Boost, and I know Aubrey, and they are phenomenal. When you get those 3 paired up, there is no stopping them. So I think that they're going to have a very deep, if not win the whole thing, season.
It's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think this team's a little too low. Aubrey is probably one of the best, if not the best player in Linguini League. Vuma is probably the best player under 100 salary in this league. And when you put those two together and you have Aldaboost supporting them, this team's the real deal. And I cannot wait to see them play together and see how they do. Although I am scared to face them in the playoffs. If I get there, of course.
1 point away, 1 point above is Portland. And, I don't think I put them that high up, but you know what? I am wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong.
With Tez returning, he was, like we said before, an all-star. I'm expecting great things from him, but I've seen the rest of their roster and they play really well together. Even if Tez isn't in there, which so far I think a lot of the time he's been letting the rest of his team get some chemistry. They're a very solid team, and I think that their placement is probably about right. I'd say 4th or 5th is where they should land for now, but I definitely think that they could show us that they're a number 1 team.
At number 3, 1 point further ahead of Las Vegas, we have Los Angeles Griffins. A lot of losses here. Losses. They're 2 points ahead of Las Vegas, but this is a team that I think all of us are expecting great things from. What made y'all put this team at number 3?
Well, me personally, I put this team at number 2. Whenever we played them, they were just everywhere. All on the ball, a lot of pressure. 7-minute overtime with them. They are a fantastic team, and I think they'll be a very good shot at going all the way.
And at number 2, I don't think this is going to surprise anyone, is New Orleans Curse, a team that almost took the championship last season. Number 2, first week. Sounds about right. What made us put them at number 2?
I would
There
say.
are-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they're amazing, Captain Matthews.
Hey, thank you, Terminator. I like that. Thank you.
No,
No
I-
problem. No, this team's the real deal, and when they're playing well, they're almost unbeatable. This team knows how to play Rocket League. They have chemistry. They're constantly trying to get scrims, and I believe they consistently get them. They're always going out there trying to improve themselves on the playing field, and I feel like that will really work well for this team. They had a good showing in the preseason tournament, and I feel like even though they're at number 2, they can only go up from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna brag on my teammates for a little bit. Taylor Two Kitties, fantastic guy. Me and him have been playing for a good while. We just click so well together. And then I have my offensive player, Testificate Cal. He is just all up in your face all the time. I don't think he's ever passed half court on defense unless it's an emergency. But I mean, I am so proud of what this team has done, and I thank y'all for your kind compliments on my team.
I would say you're number 2. Yeah, I mean we gotta have the high praises for the top 3 here. I was gonna say just one thing to add was I think Matthews, the way you're running your team and the way your team plays is your style of captain leading. I think you've said to me before. I'm just letting my players play. And I think that's what NOC is doing. I think NOC is just playing the way they play, and they're learning how to fit around each other. And I think that environment and that natural ability to just gain chemistry is just going to provide this team to get stronger and stronger as the season progresses.
At number 1, I don't think this is going to surprise anyone. The winners of last season's championship, Detroit, being led by Foxy Coxy as GM. Captain is Timmy the Turtle, who I believe he's new, but I know I've seen a lot of scrims coming from his team, and I know there's a lot of chemistry getting built. I'm expecting big things out of this team, and I know many of us are as well. What do we have that just made them the number 1 team?
I mean, I think we'd be a little bit remiss if we didn't have the returning champions as number 1. That was part of my decision, but also just having played a few scrims against them. And like I said in the team rundowns, I just don't think that they have a weak lineup. Every lineup that they send out could have a great chance of just dominating any team, similar to last season. And having been on a team that Foxy Cox Jr. was GM of, I know that he knows how to build teams, and I'm expecting Detroit to try to make the repeat.
And that covers us for the team rankings. I do know that we have the player rankings. We've each done one. We are at 1:30, or not 1:30. God, if only we're at 1:30, and we don't have too much time left. I'm certain. Do we want to go over our picks and why we believe them to be standouts for this season?
We can run them down real quick
All right.
before we move on to stream games.
So let's start from the top.
So, I ranked Glyph as number 1, like one of the players to watch for this season. He's on Carolina, so he's on the same team as me, and I think he's going to be a player to watch. He considers himself a freestyler, so he can hit a lot of the shots and stuff when it comes down to it, and it comes on the offensive possession. But I think he's going to be a player to watch. If he performs well, the team's going to perform well.
At number 2, we have Vuma. Now, I know who chose Vuma in this group.
I did. I just think that after my experiences with him and Emily, I think that he is almost severely underrated in terms of his salary. He was actually before ranking out of the Platte League in MLE, he had a average of 700 or above in his past 4 matches in terms of just overall score. So I think that he is definitely one of those ones where if you give him enough space, he will make you pay severely for it.
And I misspoke earlier. Just to clarify what we're doing here, we're speaking of players that we believe are going to really show up during the season. There's no one player above another player at this point. Just want to make that clear. Next up, we have Kerbidox, and I've already heard some really good stuff about her. Who chose Kerbidox and why, even though we already know why?
Yeah, so I talked a little bit about her already, so I'll keep this short. She's returning to Philadelphia. She has some great supporting players around her, and if she can play anywhere near the level that she was playing at last season, I think that she'll definitely be a standout player and one of the league leaders.
Next up, we have Chaos.
Yeah, that was me. I posted Chaos. Again, spoke on it before. I think Miami's still going to be a strong team. I put the player to watch as Chaos because, one, I think Chaos is really going to step into his own as an offensive leader on the team. And also, I wanted to point him out as a captain to see where he goes from here with his team after losing the top player.
Very understandable. Next, Turney Ernie, another training player who played lights out last season. Who picked him and why?
That was me, Matthews. I picked him because when we played them in the LL preseason tournament, I actually didn't know that he's their reserve, so I'm guessing that they're running a little 5-man roster, which is a great idea because he is just absolutely crazy. If it wasn't for an own goal save, they probably would have beat us in game 2. We'd have had to go into a game 3, but he is just everywhere on the ball, and he's really fun to watch.
Next up, we have my own choice, Spectre Plays. I'm sorry, my Cleveland boys. We already know to watch out for you. We got to play someone who no one is expecting, maybe. Spectre Plays, and last season he surprised me with just how many saves he would get, and you didn't see it on his stats, but he had a lot of great passes, a lot of shooting opportunities. I think he's going to be one of those players that really comes into his own this season and really shows what he can do. Next up, and not last but not least, is the Postman.
So I talked a little bit about the Postman when I went over San Antonio. This guy's the real deal. He has a skill to outplay Champ 1s, but is still stuck somehow in Diamond 3. This dude's for real. He's great in front of goal offensively and defensively, has the ability to make 4 or 5 saves a game, and I would not be shocked if this guy's on top of the saves leaderboard at the end of the season. He's a great player, and I can't wait to see him play.
All right, and that completes out our power rankings, players that we're looking out for, expecting a lot from. And I think to leave us off, we're going to leave at the streamed games this week. Does that sound correct?
Yeah.
Yes, it
So
does.
starting out this week, just tomorrow, actually, at 8 p.m., it will be Maui Ancients versus Pittsburgh Phantoms.
Let's go.
Who do we have for this game? Who do we think is going to win and why? And I'd like to get series scores.
Oh, man, you're putting us on the spot, my man.
Jeez.
Absolutely.
That's a great question.
So let's start with Broski's
Sure.
on the team.
And I understand any of y'all's answers, but if any of y'all pick Maui, I'm just gonna prove you wrong. That's all. Fine. It's all good. No, just kidding. No, I'm gonna have to. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna go with my team. I do think it's gonna be a close one though. I think it's gonna go 3-2. It's gonna come down to that game 5. I will say the added juice of the story is that I'm away from my PC, so I'll be playing the game on my Xbox. So I've been working back on getting used to that play style there and playing on a console, which I just learned if you play from PC or if you start on console, go to PC and come back, it's a big change. So I think it's going to definitely change the way we play as a team. But I'm going to have to go Pittsburgh at 3-2.
I guess I'll take next, and I'm going to say Pittsburgh 3-1. No other reason than a gut feeling. I think Pittsburgh, they're a strong team. You can tell by their roster. I would like to think all teams are going to bring out their A game week 1, but there's no guarantee unless Brisky tells us, and I don't think you should. So I'm saying 3-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the wild card and say that Maui's gonna take it in game 5. So 3-2. And I don't know, Maui just I get a vibe from them, and I believe in them, but I'd love to be proved wrong. All of last season I rooted for the underdogs, and I think I just have to keep that going this season.
So for me, I look at this match. I feel like this is probably one of the best matchups we have in the first night of the stream games. Probably the one that could go either way. And as much as I want Pittsburgh to win, because that will help my playoff chances, I'm picking Miami. Or sorry, not Miami. Oh my goodness. What am I talking about? I'm picking Maui. It's a couple letters off. All right.
San Diego.
It's a couple letters off. I'm picking Maui. I just have a lot of confidence with that Maui team, with the chemistry that they have, and the ability that I feel like they're going to be able to step up to the challenge here. Although, again, I do hope Pittsburgh wins, so I have a better chance at making the playoffs.
God, you're already
Go
looking at
Broski.
it.
Go Broski.
I'm gonna pick my boy. I'm gonna go with Broski. We're gonna go Pittsburgh 3-1. I think B Train's gonna pop off. When he gets in a groove, there's no stopping him. And I think they're gonna do really well against this team.
Yeah. Since we're a little bit, I'll cut the series score short there. For this next one, I'd like to hear 3 people say their series scores. So Dallas versus Atlanta. What do we got?
I'm gonna have to go with Atlanta. I've played with Atlanta. I've scrimmed them a lot of times. Luxurious Poverty is the real deal. I think they have great chemistry, and I'm gonna have to go with Atlanta. I'd say probably 3-2 though. I think it's gonna be a close one, but I'm gonna say Atlanta 3-2.
I'm going to say, just based off of looking at the salaries and stuff, I haven't played with either of these teams yet, but I'm going to go with Atlanta as well. I think it's going to be, I'm going to call it Game 4, 3-1.
All right, one more. Who wants it?
Go ahead, Anubis.
All right. Ooh, put me on the spot. I think I'm going with Dallas. And I'm gonna make the claim. I think they'll take it in 4, so 3-1. Dallas was just a team that impressed me last season. They may not have started out like super hot, but they have a good returning player, and I don't know. I have faith in them, so I'm gonna go in with Dallas 3-1. So that game will be at 8:40 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And our last Linguini game that will be streamed is at 9:20 Eastern. And we have San Diego and Baltimore.
So I guess I'll lead us off with that. And I'm very sorry, Baltimore, but I'm betting 3-0 San Diego. Your team that's strong. There's no doubt about that, but I don't know if that chemistry is built yet. Please prove me wrong, but I'm saying 3-0.
I'm also going to have to agree with that. I think San Diego is going to just play lights out. I'm going to go 3-0 as well, San Diego.
Man, I just want to add to it. I mean, that's literally what I was going to say. I think that's going to be the first blowout of the season there. I think Baltimore's a good team. I don't think they're going to have it together to defeat the Armada. And I'm saying 3-0.
Prove us wrong, Baltimore. I would love you to. And I don't mean this in a negative manner. I mean this in a prove us wrong because I want to be wrong.
If you guys just jinxed me, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. No, but I mean the one wild card going into that match is I know I'm not playing. I'm playing my 55. So I think it'll be interesting to see how he steps up in that environment, especially I believe it's his first game in United Rogue. It's on stream. I feel like that's the big wild card going into that.
Guys, you heard it here first. Term trying to ruse Baltimore into playing worse. And I know he's going to play. Don't lie to his Term.
I'm not playing. I am not playing. The lineup's already in.
I don't know, man. But all right. Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you all for joining us for the first week of Linguini Power Rankings. It's been a lot of fun. I know that it's been great talking and just kind of seeing what we think of all the teams. In the future, the video will be a little bit shorter because we won't have to cover all 32 teams. But yeah, we just wanted to do that this week since it's preseason.
All right. Cool.
Thank you, guys.